Hey everybody, thanks for tuning back into Silver Dragoon channel here, where we talk about kind of just precious metals and finance and money and life. And I was wondering, I was kind of pondering the idea of success lately, and just kind of quantifying how someone can say that they've been successful or not, and then kind of how that relates when external people outside of your inner circle view you and your goals and objectives, and whether or not, like, their opinion of what you've done is successful. And I find it like interesting how there's so many different kind of like varieties and ways of which people can define success. And then so, like, obviously being a money channel, I kind of want to talk about something like with wealth and savings and investments and long-term future and all that kind of stuff. But kind of like a weird story. The reason I kind of thought about this is, like, I was kind of looking back at my life and the growth of my family and my family's finances and future and stability and career growth, and then businesses and business growth, and sort of just personal education, knowledge, growth, and experience. And each and every single one of those categories has its own definitions of success that I would have to probably take a lot of time to sit down and really contemplate my own definitions. But then I was thinking about this, like, it's really interesting is, we're all at different periods in our life, we're all at different places, and we've reached different goals. And somebody who financially maybe grew up in a family that was pretty poor, and they were on government assistance and renting a home, and sometimes would have to like sacrifice by not paying the electric bill this month and just pick it up as soon as we could at the end of the month or something, or the start of the next month, right, once we got paid, right, had to cut back. And the old classic, eat rice and beans. Well, hell, sometimes rice and beans is a is a freaking benefit. That's a great meal if you're only eating, white bread and water, right? So, maybe people have, like, kind of in their mind, success to them is the ability to have enough money and enough food that there's no nights where they have to sacrifice being able to eat a good meal, right? And that in all minds, like, that perfectly reasonable metric for success, right? And then I was looking at, like, stacking, right? A lot of us are stackers, a lot of us stackers. And the only way to even become a stacker really is to have some baseline head start on sort of income and finance, just to have even in the knowledge to go and buy what it kind of is a niche luxury good to be able to purchase precious metals, right? If you think about purchasing gold and silver and gemstones and stuff like that, those are not what most people qualify as everyday necessities, right? Those are kind of like luxury items that you purchase after you've taken care of all of your bills and your medical debts and your kids and your pets and your home and food and cars and insurance and electric and phone, and right, like, all of that stuff has to it should be kind of taken care of and in a good spot before you even think about looking to purchase gold and silver. And I remember, man, it feels like it doesn't feel like it was that long ago. And maybe this is why I'm always hungry to try to grow and strive for more, and to never really be what I would call, like, I'm never really satisfied with where I'm at, because it doesn't feel like it was that long ago that I genuinely, would fret paying the changing my oil for like $100. I would be like, oh gosh, they're gonna try to tell me that I need to, flush my radiator, or that I need new brakes, or this or that, or blah blah blah. And it's like, man, they're gonna want to get another $200 out of me, and I would like sweat, like, it's like, I just want to get the oil change or do it myself. Sometimes you live in a city and you can't just do it yourself. There's really nowhere to dispose of it, and no really way to do it. But anyway, um, it's just like those little things. It's like $100 charge would be like, man, we're gonna have to like scrape by. And then it's like you go through a couple decades, and next thing you know, it's like you could $100 could fall out of your pocket and you wouldn't even notice it. Now, like, in terms of that, like, just having money to me isn't a metric for success. It's what having money does is it creates a structural point in your life where you have so much more peace of mind, right? Like you aren't stressing out, 3/4 of the way through every single month on how are you going to make ends meet, right? You're picking and choosing things that you want in your life based on the value it brings to you and your family. And you're not really necessarily worried about the price, more so as is it going to bring more joy to us than something else? And you're picking and choosing, based on the items, or maybe you want a nicer car, or maybe you want to, like, whatever, some subscription services, or you want to get some new furniture. Like, again, it doesn't matter whatever you're looking at, but like those are the things that, like, focusing on wealth and building your wealth and building your income streams and educating yourself and growing a business, things like those are like the kind of like fundamental mindset changes that happen that I don't think that you fully grasp until you've sort of broken through, until you've sort of broken through that situation. And I've been in a lot of different you know ways in my life, let's just say that. And yeah, it's just something I've been thinking about. And then here's the funniest thing about success, right? Is you know your own journey. You might work on something for legitimately your entire life. I'm 40 something, right? And I feel like I've been working my tail off to get to where I'm at, never stopping, never relenting, sacrificing and just whatever, saving, sacrificing, investing, whatever. I'm still not satisfied. But the funniest thing is that, like, nobody else cares about how hard you worked and what you had to overcome to do it. They really don't. A lot of people will just simply point at it and be like, "Oh, yeah, that person is wealthy and financially stable. They probably, they start making excuses for you. Oh, you probably got lucky, or you probably inherited something, or you probably grew up rich and all this stuff. Like, they don't realize that you literally sacrificed 25 years of your life, working 80 to 100 hours a week nonstop, not taking vacations, not purchasing things for yourself, not eating out, driving old cars, like they don't know the grind that you went through, the toll you put on your mind and body, and the stress that you induced in your life. They don't care. They don't care. And while you're in that journey, you get so much from support from people, right? People are gonna be like, "Oh, you can do it. Like, keep working hard. You got this. You got this. Got this." And you know what happens is, like, eventually, after you've kind of obtained that success, your circle changes. People that you knew don't know you anymore. Now you've met new people, and all that sentiment goes out the window. It's crazy, and I see it in this YouTube space, right? In the different clicks of precious metals channels and stuff on YouTube. I see it in the different groups that kind of form around things. I just genuinely think it's a very interesting dynamic how you could have like a message that in your mind you believe is supposed to be like inspiring and hopeful and honest and raw and real, to sort of help motivate and help people kind of like get to a level that they may not even know exists, right? And there's so many levels that I look up to, all these people around me, that I'm like, man, I want one day to, like, have that sort of safety net, that sort of confidence, and just you don't have there's a point where you just don't have to worry anymore, right? You have years of life expenses saved up. So even if you lost your job, you could just tap into your savings for a little bit, get yourself back, and take the time to literally decide what you want to do. You don't have to rush to the first opportunity that gets presented to you. You literally take your time and say, what do I want to do? Where do I want to be? What, like, is there something I can leverage to maybe, fill some gaps and times? Like, maybe I spark back up that business I had on the side, and, like, I kind of grind that out. Anyway, I just looking at this, and then, obviously over time you have your spiritual success. You come I'm not going to try to tell anybody their own ways to do that, but you get the point. Like, everybody has their own metrics for if they're confirming their beliefs, I guess, the way that they should be. You've got family success. Are you raising your kids to grow up and to be whatever you want them to be, as adults in the future? Are you holding them accountable for important things in life? Are you teaching them how to be critical thinkers and, mature people, and to sort of not generate conflict with others, and, just whatever, and like strive and be leaders, and be be thinkers, and like whatever, are you spending time with your wife, and are you, finding commonality and things to do together, right? Whatever. You get my point. It's like people never understand the amount of constant daily effort every single thing in your life takes. Even though they have it going on in their own, they just look at other people, and they always just assume that they got there through some sort of shortcut. And I'm here to tell you, like, 99% of everybody got to where they are through the same types of blood, sweat, tears, turmoil that you're going through, and there is, like, the answer for me for getting through any sort of rough patch, or um, clawing through to get to any sort of goal, is all the same. You just never quit. You never ever quit. You keep fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting until you get to the point where you want to be. And then you know what's going to happen? You're going to be there for a year or two, and then all of a sudden you're going to want to strive for the next level, because you will have now established a new baseline of stability and consistency and expectations for you and yourself and your family, or whatever your metric is. And now you will start striving for the next thing. And it's like, that's the way we all do it. We're just all at different places, and we're all going in different directions and trying to achieve different goals, and we have different metrics. So I guess at the end of the day, it's like, I think we too often, as people, we look at other people's success, and we almost look down at them like, not, we like they can't be good people, or they can't have tried as hard as I have, or they're probably being irresponsible with the opportunities that have been given them. Like, we have like all these like weird little, like, I guess, scapegoats that we give to ourselves to explain why we don't have what we desire that somebody else might have, and then we make excuses for how they got there. And it's maybe one day we can change that perception. I don't know. I probably never will. It's probably just human nature at this point, or it's internet toxicity or something like that. But it's something that I've been seeing a lot, is like the way people interact, the way people say things, the assumptions that people make, and like things like that. Just kind of like, you start to analyze those things. You start to realize that there is some sort of contagion out there, where, again, we all sort of seem to believe that nobody works as hard as us, or nobody has sacrificed as much as us. And at the end of the day, we've all put in, we've all done it. And success is just a funny thing, because as soon as you start to obtain those levels of success that you worked so hard for, the sooner that people start to sort of change on you, and the sooner that people no longer care about your hard work and effort and journey, no longer listens to your words as if they are words of encouragement. Instead, they are words of arrogance. And anyway, just something that was on the top of my mind, I thought I'd share with you. So if you got anything out of this, make sure you click like, subscribe. If you really, really enjoyed it, become a channel member, or, whatever, hop on the free app that I've made for all the people in the stacking community. I think we've got like, I don't know, 10 people that use it. So anyway, thanks guys. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.